Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Rise with Reis, where we have Reis helping us elevate our true selves so we can come into a frequency and a vibration to attract our twin flame in such a way that matches us at a higher version of ourselves so we don't have to go through so much of that craziness. However, with that being said, today's topic is going to be about the twin flame telepathy and synchronicities and how that connects. And one of the things I'll open that with is, have you ever had like that mind-boggling connection with your twin flame in such a way that you can't even tell if it's your own thoughts, if it's your own emotions, if it's things that are triggering you, or that you're having to clear, even having to clear some of their things, but not sure and can't separate between yourself and them. So today we're going to talk about this topic, and we're going to let Reis open up and share with us some information about how this works with her and her twin flame directly. But also make sure to leave us questions. Let us know where you're tuning in from. And at the end, we'll make sure to answer some questions. And so I'm going to turn it over to Reis for now. She's hot and heavy and ready. This is like one of her favorite topics, I know.
Oh, I'm really excited about this. Hello, everybody, and welcoming everybody to what we're doing today. I'm so excited about this topic because this is something that is really, really powerful for myself and my twin flame. We have a very, very strong telepathic communication between us, and this is something that has really deepened over the years and evolved in so many different ways. Where do I start with it? I suppose I start before we actually completely met. Some twin flames actually given the guidance that they're going to meet their twin flame. Now, my twin flame was actually given the guidance that he knew through his intuition, through his gut feeling, that he was meant to meet me. And we actually went to an event together, which we didn't actually physically meet, but he knew, and he actually said to his friend on the way, I'm meant to meet somebody tonight. I'm meant to meet someone that's going to be very powerful in my life. And he had this very, very strong gut intuition that this was going to happen. And this was the start of his feelings, of his intuition, of the synchronicities that were coming through. Both myself and my twin flame, we communicate on such a deep telepathic level that we don't have to be in the same room to know what each other are thinking and how we are communicating. We are energetically tuned in to each other all the time. I can visualize, feel, and know where he is at every given moment. And we share so much. We share the same dreams as well. That's another very powerful connection that we have. We will often dream the same dreams. Recently, we both had the same dream where we were coming into abundance. And the next day we came into abundance, and we're both in manifestation at the moment. So we align and we know how we are focusing our energies. But don't get me wrong, this has taken time to form a deep connection. We both had that instant familiar connection, and the synchronicities were huge. The feelings of knowing him, of understanding him before I even actually physically met him was massive. But that came from understanding to trust myself, understanding to listen to myself. And then we've had to really deepen that connection within our relationship, within our twin flame journey, of how to listen not only to ourselves, but listen and observe each other. And I feel that's a huge thing for us to take on board, because how many of us actually really trust and listen to our own gut feelings, that really trust the signs and what the universe is sending us? And this is where we can really focus on understanding how to develop that intuition, how to really listen, because until we really listen to ourselves, which was a massive aspect of what I'd already developed within myself. As I said, I've been on a spiritual journey, and I had my awakening process quite a few years before I met Jonathan. So that deep intuition and that understanding of trusting the signs and listening to the universe, and what I was given was already there. But then the dynamics changed and evolved throughout the period of our relationship. So I had to go on a journey of really understanding how to listen more to myself, so then I could listen to him, which then came the deeper connection of our intuition and our telepathy.
Beautiful, very beautiful. So, that what you're talking about with the trust aspect is huge, because first of all, just to be guided outside of yourself through intuition, and know that when you do get those signs and synchronicities that's pointing you in the right direction, you have to really come into the trusting to surrender into the belief that they're real, right? And so many people question that. And so when you question it, you're really separating from the power and the opportunity to tune in more. Because where you're meeting your twin flame is through your own connection to your own vibration, your own connection to your own intuition, to your own connection to your own energy patterns of flow. And so now, like you said, Reis, the more you come into that within yourself, the more in tune you come into it with them. But you know how it is when most people wake up to the twin flame journey initially, and they're being bombarded by so many signs and synchronicities. They know that they can't be making this up, but yet they can get scared of it, because they're like, wow, what's happening to me? I mean, I can't tell you how many people started seeing, 222, 333, 444, 555, and I even remember one time when I first started this journey, in a day's time, went through every one, 111, 222, 333, all the way as far as you can go to like 1010, and I guess back to the 1111 and 1212, technically, and so, you can't make that up for sure. However, I've had people come to me in the past and be scared and not know what's happening, and be afraid of, like, are they tapping into some energy that is not a good energy, and what is this all about? So when you add that to even connecting, and like most people, when they wake up to that awakening, that awareness, they start identifying that, oh, this is happening because this person came into my life. Now they're a part of this activation energetically that's awakening a side of me that, like, I couldn't see before, and then that's making me start to connect to realms that I've never connected to before. What would you say on the early stages? Because obviously you've made it through, all the hurdles into the depths of the connection and what it takes. But coming that back a little bit to the initial phases for people being scared, not trusting themselves, what advice would you give them?
This was a huge thing for me as well, learning to trust and let go of that fear. So seek spiritual counsel, speak people that can assist you and guide you through this process. Fear is a huge thing, and we can get lost in it, and we can quickly retreat and then go into separation, where we forget to connect with others. And I would say, reach out, connect. This is what I did. I went and I sought spiritual guidance and help, and really being open to allowing that to come in, because often when we go into fear, that creates a huge separation within us, and then we can forget to reach out, we can forget to ask for help. And as we talk about, we are not in this alone. There are so many people like myself, Dr. Harmony, Jeremiah, we're all here to lovingly assist you and to help guide you through this process. Speak up and allow yourself to really know that there is so much loving support out there. Now, it can be incredibly overwhelming when you're given a flood of signs and information, and all of a sudden you start seeing things from a totally different perspective, and it can become a very scary territory to be in. And this is what I would say. I would say reach out. I mean, we've got amazing support group. We've got a Facebook group. Come and connect with like-minded souls. If you're feeling a little bit unsure, just come in. You can just come and embrace us and see what we're about. We've got loads of tools and advice and connection going on in there. It's really, really beautiful. And I would say just really be open to this. I started working a lot with archangels. when I went into a huge place of fear. So really be open to what makes you feel good and learn to listen to yourself. And this is part of the growth and how we can actually use that fear in order to ascend and elevate and shift our vibrations into becoming more empowered. Now, remember that fear isn't actually a bad thing. It's really showing us an aspect of ourselves that can grow, that helps us elevate. So when we go into this place of growth, we can often try and shut down through fear, through separation. And what we got to remember, actually, it's not a disempowering tool. It's actually something that it can show us in order to elevate us to that next level. And it's not going to be there forever. Yeah. So a lot of my times when I've been in my most fear, I've actually got the most growth out of that period. But be really, really open to understanding that this isn't a place where it's going to be forever, but it's okay for now. But be open to recognizing what's coming in and asking for help. A huge part of me, when I went into fear, I had a lot of astral traveling going on, and it was a lot of fear for me. And that was a scary place to ask for help, because how many people
we separate from our body in those cases. You know,
We
that's
do.
when we get that out of body experience, and we're not connected to ourselves, and we actually separate from ourselves through that fear.
And I astral travel, and to me it was a scary territory. But asking for help, I had to be open, and I knew that I needed help. So be open, and it will come. It really will come. And there's a lot of people out there that can assist you. As I said, myself and Dr. Harmony, we are totally there supporting you. And yeah, just believe, have that belief. Okay, we believe in you.
Yeah, and the Facebook group Reis is referring to, there's a link in the comment section or in the description above or below, depending on what platform you're on, that you can get connected to that and come join us there. Reis is giving all kinds of content there, doing weekly readings there. Her twin meets people there and leaves messages and answers questions from a divine masculine standpoint. So everybody really seems to love that. Everybody wants to know what the divine masculine is thinking. And in addition to that, we have the Perfect Inner Work Challenge that we did a few weeks ago, and it is now packaged up into a 5-part video series, so you didn't miss it. You can still get plugged into it, and you can sign up for it. Also, the link will be in the description for whatever platform you're on as well. And so one of the things I want to add, Reis, to what you're talking about in my own process of kind of what you're saying in the asking, I use an ask, listen, allow process. And so that asking is an opportunity to ask your higher self, to ask your guides, also to direct you, to help you understand what is being shown to you. And to also, one of the things I used to ask for is, show me your language. Show me what this means. Show me how I can decode this, decipher this. And then once you ask, you're always going to get an answer. But it's about then listening for the answer and then allowing the information to come through you, not from you. Because a lot of times people, I mean, that's the other thing I will say. You can get so OCD about all the signs and synchronicities that it turns into a manifestation of what you're attracting based on what you're looking for, too. So it can kind of go to the opposite scale of keeping you trapped in these sign synchronicities or into information or into showing you signs to what you want to see, so to speak, that may not be the highest good always. You know, sometimes what we see, what we want is not necessarily what the plan is. So we have to be willing to know that it, give it room to evolve, change, grow. And then like you're talking about, with the fear process, I look at that as alchemy. We're alchemizing those fears to create and elevate ourselves, which this whole thing is about, is elevating to our true self that we're talking about, Rise with Reis, and attracting our highest match from there. Know that we're in a frequency and a vibration now that is literally the opportunity to step out of old timelines, to step out of old paradigms, to step up into more of who that true self is. But you have to consciously choose that. And that means you also might have to step out of things that feel uncomfortable stepping out, or stepping out of things that you've been hanging on to. I mean, I'm going through some of these things right now, and of the changes I'm still making of things that match an old version of me, an old identity that I know that like it feels like should go forward with me. But the thing, and I always talk about this, you either shift or be shifted. So if things are still coming to a place that it's not being fruitful and you're pushing against it, then there's a time and a place to be like, okay, this is an alignment issue now. Coming into alignment with more of the frequency of who you are will bring to you and pull towards you, not you pushing and grabbing and reaching and trying to make things happen. And if that's happening, then it's time to turn your knob, turn the dial of frequency you're on and make some changes, let go of some things. And we're all being put to the test to let go of so many things. But really here, we're really talking about that telepathic communication, with your twin, and how can you, like, one of the questions I started is how can you separate, and I'm gonna go back to that question because we didn't really fully clarify that question. How do you personally separate your stuff from his stuff?
Okay, that is a really good one, because we can make it all about ourselves. And actually that comes from a deep connection of learning to listen and learning to listen and be open and to communicate. And this has come from quite a deep connection with myself and my twin, of really developing, of learning to actually take a step back and observe. And that's a huge thing, because as Dr. Harmony just said, we get stuck in, and sometimes we're pushing against it, and we want to look for the results that we want to see rather than actually what's visibly there. So actually really taking time to go into yourself. Myself and my twin flame, we meditate a lot together. We meditate a lot together in nature. We do a deeper connection where we can learn to energetically connect with each other, and we can learn to just tune into our feelings. So learning to listen to ourselves and how we're feeling, so we can disconnect ourselves from another person, is huge. So you can actually come together to listen to each other on a totally different frequency. When we're stuck so much in our head and we're talking so much in our mind and we're telling ourselves, and we need that validation all the time, it's about taking ourselves from our headspace into our heart space and our emotional space, and learning to listen to our feelings instead of the mind chatter that can go on, or the results that we want, or what we're willing to see. Especially what we want to see, because actually we miss a lot of what we are seeing, because we're forcing what we're trying to see and what we want as a result.
Yes.
And when we can really hold that space for ourselves to go into that quiet time, to really sit with ourselves and feel and tune in and know exactly how we feel, without actually learning about myself and how I feel and how I communicate to myself, how I can listen to my intuition, I couldn't understand how to listen to somebody else's. And that was huge for me. So actually being in that quiet space, and understanding how to receive and listen, because a lot of us talk, but actually how many of us really listen and are open to the information? And I would really advise that if you're one of these people, because that has been me a lot of times, and I can go into this place, go and spend some time by yourself in nature, go and connect, go and really tune in where you can get that place where you are still, and we can start to really disconnect from actually everything else around us and home into ourselves. And building that relationship with ourselves is really, really key, because a lot of us are looking for that validation. We're forcing the issue. We're trying to force the connection. And some of us don't actually get it straight away. So, they can be with their flame, and they're going, well, where is this telepathic communication? What's happening? And they're trying to force it. But just remember, be patient. It will come. Just learn to go into yourself, learn to listen to yourself, learn to sit with yourself, be kind to yourself is huge. How many of us are actually really in that place where we can love ourselves and care for ourselves and nurture ourselves? Because when we allow that love to enter into our heart for us, we can allow others to connect with ourselves through our heart. It's a big connection that we often miss. Yeah.
So true. So true. And when you were talking, I just kept feeling it had to do with being able to, the learning to listen to ourselves is the key here.
Yeah.
Like what, because we don't get still, and so many people can't get still. They can't, and part of that's because they don't want to feel their self. They don't want to feel their emotions. They don't want to face certain things that they're running from. And so they kind of preoccupy themselves to, kind of go outside of their own thoughts, feelings, and emotions. But when you get still, that calls for like really paying attention to the good, bad, and the ugly. You know what I'm saying? Like that calls for you literally feeling the emotions you have not wanted to feel. But the minute you're able to feel them and see them, that's 75% of the healing. Now it's just implementing some new patterns and some new thoughts and shifting the energy, which is alchemizing that energy from a lower state to a higher state, which is how you elevate your frequency. But the more you can practice tuning into you, the more you can be connected to yourself, the more you will connect to your twin flame. And so if you're really wanting to build that connection with your twin flame, you do it through the connection with yourself, down to feeling into your own emotions, feeling into your own intuition. And then when those signs and synchronicities come, you begin to now trust them more than you would otherwise, because you're owning your own truth. You're owning your own intuition from a place of believing. Well, and this is coming through as another thought, because what would you say? Because a lot of times people, they saw all these signs, they saw these synchronicities, they had this telepathic communication, they know it's related to this person. It did not come to pass. And now they don't think they believe in the journey anymore.
Yeah. And this is it. And again, that's losing that trust and that patience in the process. A lot of times I have often gone into a place of frustration because I'm not getting the results that I want in my relationship. I'm not receiving what I want. And it's not about me, my control. It's about being in that place of surrender, and also being in the place of patience and learning to communicate. So it's often teaching us different ways of learning to trust and let go, which will deepen and heighten our connection, which what I would say is, don't look at any part of this as you're not growing and you're not developing through this. Because oftentimes I have had breakdowns within my twin flame relationship that had to break in order for us to relearn how to communicate and then elevate to that next level. So sometimes things are stripped away from us. All of that familiarity that we've become used to, all of those, that place that we've gone, okay, we know. Sometimes things need to shift in order to break. Now, within my relationship, in my twin flame, we break on a powerful level, and then we elevate on a really powerful level. And then we've learned how to communicate in a whole new place again, which is giving us so much more information. So again, it's a learning trust, learning patience. And I know this is so hard to do when you're in that place that you're going, you're just so stuck and you're just feeling such a resistance. But believe me when I tell you, there will be a breakthrough. Just keep being in the present, keep practicing every step, day by day. Don't overwhelm yourself with trying to look for so much to do right now, because sometimes this is teaching us to be right now. It's teaching us to go into that place of surrender and letting go of trying to control everything and fixate on what should happen. As I said, reach out, find a community, find people that can assist you and support you. That's a huge thing for me to do. And this is something that I've come to recognize, that every time I go into a place of shifting to that next level, it's time now that I flood my life and I need to find new mentors. I need to find a new direction, which is helping me grow and find myself. Because actually, when I do the work on myself, I shift, and then my twin flame shifts powerfully. This isn't something that I can externally do and control. This is something that needs to shift within me. So it's really paying attention to those signs that are showing, because actually losing faith and losing that. It's actually learning, teaching us to trust. And this is before I moved to Australia. We had a shift. We had a huge shift. And this was, we had to break down again in order to learn how to trust each other in a whole new way. Where we were going, we were moving across the other side of the world. We had to develop trust and communication in a whole new way. And lots of things were being thrown up. Lots of things were taking us away and forcing us to go into different aspects of separation, which was which a lot of fear was coming up at the time of going, oh shit, we're moving. We need to get this together. We need to. And there was that whole of me trying to force and trying to, bring it. And actually by surrendering and letting go, finding, new mentors. This was when I connected with Dr. Harmony earlier last year, and I did the Lightworking Academy. And this was really powerful because actually having that input elevated me to do the work and aligned us to a whole new way of communicating. Now, I'll tell you, me and my twin flame, we don't have to talk at all. We sit in the same room. We are around each other. We are communicating about things consistently, telepathically. It's just such a natural flow within our relationship. We don't question it. It's just that. It's incredible.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that with us. Definitely. And I just want to add something that, when you're talking about breaking apart and how it all comes together, of how reminding everybody of the energetic connection that this is and is causing it, which is where my scientific brain and background come from, of how to quantumly create these formulas of how the push-pull takes place. And when one moves, the other moves, and move together. And then it, continues like a cog on a wheel that just keeps moving, and one keeps the other moving. And the only way you can move together is if you're both going through that whole process together, obviously. And then that's a whole trust aspect in itself, because if you're truly meant to be with them, and what's meant to be yours will pull to you. And if it's not pulling to you, then it's not meant for you. And it's just naturally going to fall away. So that's where you can take a look at, if this person's pulling into your shifts or not. Because if they're not, you need to keep that door open to see what's coming in for you, because you will meet and match somebody that will bring to you the next level and layer of who you are, which has been a lot of my journey. And everyone at this point has probably heard me talk about my revolving door, because that's what I call it. And I've always stayed open to the growth, because I've always looked at it, it's inside me, and that I'm the one that's changing, and that continues to, pull everything that I need to me, in every area of my life, really. And if it's not pulling to me, then it's time to let go.
Yeah,
and it doesn't matter what it is. It's time to let go.
And actually recognizing when to let go.
Yeah.
And that part of listening to yourself and understanding how to create that trust within you, and seeing those signs as well that come with it, and being really clear about those signs and learning to trust them. I mean, I have number frequencies talking to me all day long, and Jonathan does the same, and research everything, research what it is that is showing you. I hear a lot about people coming to me with the questions of, I need to know this, I need to know this. And, but actually sitting on it for quite a while before they've even sought out that information. And I know, Dr. Harmony, you're really in that place of surrendering, letting go at this moment, and allowing a whole new energy to come through, and surrendering and being really open to how powerful that place is through the growth. Because we talk about the power of the pause, don't we? We really do. And this is a place where I'm in at the moment, of really recognizing actually how much we see when we're in the pause, and how many signs come to us when we're out there, we're looking and we're in that go, 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 go phase. We don't actually really recognize what we need to let go of, where we're moving into, and all the signs, because the signs don't have to just come in number frequencies. They can energetically align with attachments around people and situations that are coming up. And if we're not in that pause where we're really open to seeing everything that comes through, and we're not fixated on what we actually want to see, which is huge, which is blocking us from actually recognizing what we need to work on, then we miss it. And we can stay in that place for quite a while, because until we recognize what we need to work on with the signs, they're just going to keep coming. They're going to keep coming. They'll come in different ways, but they're not going to, they're not going to leave until we actually pay attention. And sometimes we don't want to see them because it's easier. We feel it's easier to not see them. But actually, when we've done that work around it, the shift is so powerful, because we're at a time now where the energy is so high. And actually, we do that work. We recognize, we go with it. We go with the flow. We see what, and we can disconnect from what we need to disconnect and allow ourselves to grow in the space that we need to grow in. The shift is powerful, and the shift happens a lot quicker. And sometimes we're holding on to that because we go, oh, it's a bit more painful. We don't want to address it. But actually addressing that is huge. And this is part of the signs that we're talking about, and about the intuitive parts of ourselves that we've got to be open to, which will deepen that connection with our flame, which will, and even in when we're in that space of that runner chaser, that deep telepathic connection is still there. Connecting, where we can feel disconnected from our flame and not actually in a physical relationship with them. And the telepathic connection is still there, where you can have the thoughts and they'll text, or the things will come up, where actually we need to do that inner work with communicating with ourselves before we're allowed to come back into that space of physically being able to deepen that connection with each other. So I'm not saying this is just for everybody that's in a relationship currently with their flame. This is about actually recognizing when you're in a place of separation as well, and that telepathic communication is still there, because you are still vibrationally aligned to your twin. Everything mirrors itself. So recognizing actually, and this is going back into the space of going, questioning and being in fear, and is this really here? My flame's not physically in my place with me at this time, is recognizing that actually still is there, and that actually work needs to be done on a deeper energetic level in order for you then to come back through and communicate on a physical level, where you can actually have, that more physical communication, where you're verbally connecting with each other. So when we go into this self-doubt, don't question this. This is all part of the process and part of the plan. It's huge. It's bigger than you will ever know, but just go into that place of trust and really understand that everything is happening for a reason.
Yeah, which is teaching the ultimate virtue of patience. And in the process of that is where, the divine timing matches. So a lot of the thing you got to know also, and I experienced this over and over and over and over, and I know you've experienced this, Reis, so much of what's meant to be is a divine orchestration to align things at the perfect timing, perfect alignment that puts you in alignment with everything you need when you need it. And if you don't push that, and you don't start seeking that, you don't start searching for that, and you don't create more of it that is bringing to you more like a chaotic energy, or more like an energy that is kind of like focusing so much of the outside of you, because people look at those signs and synchronicities, sometimes something outside too. When you can pull that back in and be like, this is a process for me internally, then you begin to become one with all of it. You can surrender into it. And then the entire flow of that connection will do what it's meant to do. And you just kind of get out of the way and allow it to happen, which obviously is easier said than done. But a lot of people have been on this journey awakened for a long time now. So a lot of people have tipped the scale and are operating more from that. But what I will say to those people is know that it's very real. And even if you've kind of stepped off this path and think that, it's not necessarily for you anymore, know that it's inside you, so you don't get out of it.
No.
You don't get out of it because it's inside you, and you're going to get what you need to keep going through cycles or circles until you surrender to whatever it is you're to be seeing and connecting with. And that will help you navigate faster, really.
Absolutely.
So, yes.
Absolutely. I mean, there's been so much deep content today. But what I love hearing is people's stories of their twin flame signs and their connections and how they energetically align. And, all of the different signs that actually bring people together. They go, I didn't actually see that. But actually now this is showing me and amplifying our deeper connection. And if anybody's got anything here that's watching today that they've got in terms of throwing up what their signs and their connection is with their twin flame, I really, really love to hear it. This is something we recently connected with in the group on Facebook, and it was great hearing about all the different signs and synchronicities of what's come through in order that aligns you and matches you to your twin flame. I think they're just so, everybody's got so many different stories and experiences of how they've aligned with their twin flame energy. It's really, really powerful. It's really cool. And until I actually went into this place of understanding those signs and the intuition. Yes, I think Heidi sort of said there. Then actually seeing the similarities, seeing the vibrational match is really, it's just, you couldn't make it up. It's amazing.
So make sure if you're just tuning in, you didn't hear us, make sure to plug into the Facebook group, because inside the Facebook group, you can connect with Reis. She's doing weekly readings there. And also her twin flame comes and shares and answers questions sometimes. But based on what she's saying, yeah, get plugged into that link to the Facebook group inside the description, whatever platform you're on, above or below you, and let us know inside of there what your signs, synchronicities, or what your awakening was, or your telepathic communication story. And Reis or myself, will be reaching out to you and connecting with you there. Also, if you've not got plugged into that challenge that we did for the 5-day perfect work challenge, meaning basically stop doing as much work and realize that you are whole and complete where you're at, and therefore accepting where you are will allow yourself to be accepted by your twin flame where you are, which will pull that to you. It's a very powerful series of 5 videos. So you can get plugged into that and sign up for free, and the link in the description above or below you. And as always, you can also connect with Reis for readings and energy healing, and as well as myself. And I also have the group healing, and we kicked off our Ignite Your Inner Flame program that you can find more information about that as well in the description. So for now, let's see if I don't think we had any specific questions, but let's just see, acknowledge some people here. Hello, Trudy. Hello, Heidi. Hello, Melinda. Thank you so much. Hello, Jeremiah. And let's see. This is is it? I'm not sure how to pronounce that one.
Carlos.
I'm sorry. Is it Carlos?
Carlos.
Okay,
yeah.
Just spelled different. Okay. Let's see. Jeremiah always has some really good feedback. So let's see what this one says, just for some information here. Create your own language and interaction between each other. Let's see. Connection with each other is create your own language between each other. That's true. It does become your own language in between the two of you. You begin to speak to each other ways no one else can truly understand or feel. It's a very deep emotional place where you can surrender to each other in a really vibrant, personal, resonating way. And that is very true. And as you know, I can definitely acknowledge that and definitely relate to that and agree with that. Thank you for sharing that, Jeremiah, because that's so powerful. All right, let's see. You can feel your twin flame is very upset.
I get that. Yeah, I have that deep connection. We don't have to be anywhere near each other to know when each other are rocking. Yeah.
Do you feel this because of the same chakra system? So it's more the chakra system is what keeps the polarities going, keeps the vibration connected. And yes, it is because of that on some level, but it's really the depths of the connection of your heart connection feeling that, when you can feel what you're saying here, like being upset, that's an emotion. So there's an emotional connection that comes through the heart chakra, which is part of the chakra system. But you're feeling it through your emotions. And so if you're an empath, or you went through some traumas or things that you've had to purge or clear, which your twin will come along and activate you through the chakra system to either awaken things that haven't been awakened, that are dormant in your chakra system, in your body, in your emotions, in your energy patterns, in your thoughts, feelings, actions. I mean, all of it. And so it's interesting because actually Jeremiah pointed this out. It can be either a trigger of trauma or more of a trigger of like an ecstasy that brings you into a place of connecting at a higher level too. So, most people are operating at the lower frequency, where it ends up triggering the trauma and causes you to purge out like all these painful, these wounds, basically. But once the wounds are healed, then it's an activation at this higher level that is bringing up and activating you and connecting in these dimensions and realms that are mind-blowingly out of body, like the heaven realms. That is where all that bliss and, all those things come from. And that's why a lot of people get that bubble love up front first, because it's like a kabam of the chakra system that then activates all the light, that then raises the frequency. And in that frequency, the emotions can't live in that space anymore. So now the emotions go, oh, this doesn't feel good. So then you dive into the emotions to clear the emotions. And as you clear the emotions, that then creates space for more frequency, more elevation of light energy. And then bringing that in then shines more light on the shadows. And it goes through a cycle until you purge and clear out all of the crud, basically. So it kind of depends on how you navigate letting that go and how much you have above that to get rid of it. But a piece of where a lot of people are now is being like, okay, I have this. I'm willing to feel it. I'm willing to connect to it. I'm willing to allow it. I'm not going to resist it. But I also am not going to go through the sabotaging myself thinking I got to be perfect or I got to do it right. Because the thing is, you will dig into this stuff. I always say till the cows come home, because it will be endless until you choose to shift your dial and focus on something different. That's why it's so important to know what you want out of this. Hello, David. Let's see. So, with Reis, you want to answer that one, or you want me to answer that one?
Yeah. So he answers my questions before I ask it. How is this possible when we're different in the area of the mind? Well, let me tell you, the information isn't received through the mind, it's received through the heart. So actually letting go, and this is letting go of what we can be fixated on and moving from the headspace into the heart area, and knowing that actually it's an energetic connection, that actually what Dr. Harmony was saying about us developing our emotions and our intuition and all of this from purging all of our lower stuff actually brings ourselves up into a higher alignment. And receiving the information doesn't come through the mind. So it's not about understanding the knowledge or being fixated in what we're telling ourselves up here. The twin flame connection is actually a lot more in the heart area. So it's not up here that we receive it. So and this is something me and my twin flame do. He answers my questions before I've even asked them, and I do the same to him, because the connection is in the heart. It's all about how we've grown through that. And the less that we stay out of the mind and try and fixate within trying to understand it logically, it's actually taking us away from really being open to the connection that is we're receiving. So we think things, we are different as people, both me and my twin flame. We have different, we're two different people, but come together as the same. And it's actually recognizing the energetic connection is so much more bigger than what our mind tells us it is.
Yeah.
It's huge.
So powerful. Very good. Good, powerful answer too. Definitely. So we want to thank you guys, all of you, for joining us. Thank you for all of your great questions. This is a weekly live show that we do, Rise with Reis, so you can elevate your true self and attract your highest match, your twin flame. And so, hello, Charles. Welcome. And so make sure that you like, comment, share the shine on this information. That gets them information out there. That helps us support the program, support this information. And don't forget to get plugged into our Facebook group that you can find the link above or below in the description, as well as that free 5-day challenge of the 5-part video series that you can get plugged into. And as always, we will see you next week, and I'll be back on Thursday for my regular weekly video. And we'll see you next week. And just let us know how we can support you. And we send you loads and loads of love and light.
Love, love, love. Bye.
Bye for now.